Let's focus on our ankles. Sometimes in yoga, when we take wide stances, it tends to pull on the outer edges of the ankles. So there's a way that we can make our ankles a lot stronger and a lot more flexible. So grab your mat and let's begin. We've all had ankle strains, and perhaps it's just a fault in the sidewalk or bad shoes. The tendency is to drop to the outer edges of the foot. And so, in order to strengthen that area, especially for yoga, when we're taking a wide stance, take a wide stance now just to check this out. In a wide stance, with the slightly bent knees and with your feet pulling in, you can feel how the feet and the ankles and the shin bones engage so fully so that you have this uniform strength from the pelvis to the feet. But sometimes we get a little bit too wide and the ankles do what's called sickling, they draw out. Let's get a few tips to practice strengthening the ankles. One of the things I like to do, even as I'm getting out of bed, is to just stretch the ankles. By stretching the ankles, this allows me to have a lot more stability when I get out of bed. Come to a seated position and just to stretch the foot so that you get a lot of length in the back of the ankle here. Just pull your toes back and you get a lot of stretch. And just reach them forward the opposite way, pull them back. Just do this a few cycles so that you can get a nice flexibility going on in the ankle. Pull them back and reach them forward. Do that two more times. Pull the toes back as you reach the heel forward and point. And one more time, you pull back and reach forward. And opposite foot. So, of course, you can have your foot on the floor if you wish. I just kind of like opening my hip too as I'm doing this. So, you pull the toes back and you reach them forward. And if this is not good for your hip, you take the heel down and do the same actions. You just get a little bit more flexibility in whatever way works for you. And three more cycles. Pull them back, reach forward, pull back, reach forward. One more, pull back and reach forward. So that just kind of brings your awareness to the ankle. Now that pulling in sensation that we have when we're standing wide, and again, ankles tend to sickle out, and you start to feel that pulling unless you bend your knees, pull your feet in, and get a nice engagement of the inner thigh muscles. So, one way to work this is zigzagging of the feet. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but I just draw the heels to one side, the toes to the same side, and just move along the floor. You don't want to do this in socks. Shoes will work, so you can do this during the day to continue to work the strength of the ankles. I always like going barefoot. So you just go back and forward several cycles to strengthen the ankle area. So once you get really good at the the 2 foot zigzag action, it's time to think about maybe 1 foot. You can keep one toe on the earth if you wish, or lift it up and just keep on working just 1 foot. And as you do, you start to see the strength. I can really tell the difference. This side where I broke my leg is so different than the other side. So Now you've figured out how to get the side to side action going on. Now, to get a little bit more strength, when we were seated, we just flexed, did plantar flexion and dorsiflexion of the ankles. But see about lifting your heels up now and take them down, and lift your toes up and take them down. So maybe a side view will help. So you can lift your heels up, take them down, lift your toes up, and take them down. Lift your heels up. You feel like the toes are brakes when you lift the heels up, heels down, and toes up. Heels up, toes up, heels up, and toes up, and heels up, and toes up. Now come back to your mat and take the wide stance. And in this wide stance, bend the knees slightly, pull your feet in so you get the strong engagement of the inner thigh muscles. Keeping that, interlace your fingers, open your chest, and exhale, draw down. Keep the feet pulling in toward each other so that you can benefit from the strengthening action that we did in the zigzag move and in the one-legged stance. Inhale, and the pointing the foot, flexing the foot, and release your hands. So now when you come to those wide-legged stance, you know the actions that you need to do to ensure that you strengthen the ankle area in yoga poses. It's just one more way to refine your yoga practice. Namaste.